my cublings. How you doing? Just wait. It's cold. I need a jacket. Just give me a sec. I need a jacket. It's cold. Okay. Now we can get started. We got a blanket on. It's nice and warm now. And let's get into this week's of Reddit reactions, or shall I say Reddit essays, because when they say these stories are long, they weren't joking. Like, look at this. This is insane. Look at this. Look at this. That is insane. And one last one. Look, 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 look. It's a week of retail essays. But anyway, with that being said, let's hop into these Reddit reactions and yeah, let's see what this week brings, starting with temporary lumpy 8589, two brazen encounters at the deli counter. As I think back on my time, okay. As I think back on my time working in the grocery store's daily hot bar section, I remember there were two times I had to get authorities involved. Ooh, spicy. I figured I'd better tell those stories too. The first one is super short, so I can put them both here. They also happened within a day or two of each other, though I don't remember which happened first. Because the deli is a service counter and not self serve, loss prevention usually don't have to worry about us. But there were at least two occasions they did while I was there. Story number one. So, had a customer come in late after the deli was closed and we had taken down the machines for cleaning. It was company policy. We like it clean, we like it clean. That if we had just closed but not cleaned or taken apart the slices yet, we could serve customers who ran in last minute. Unfortunately, while it was a rare occurrence, one or two people thought that meant they could get meat all the way up until the main store closed at 11 p.m., even though the deli closed at 9. No, if the deli closed at 9, it closed at 9. If like at 11 nobody's there, and if they are, they're busy cleaning. Like, no, go home. Go somewhere else. I don't know. Enter balding middle-aged guy in flannels. He came in about quarter to 10 p.m. one night, just as I'd finished dismantling the last slicer and put the parts in a sink full of suds. He wanted half a pound of salt and pepper roast beef sliced. I told him we were closed and he said, but you're supposed to be able to still cut if after closing. I told him that only applied if we had functioning slices, which we didn't at the moment. The other girl on closing duty with me suggested he look to see if we had any in our pre-sliced display. Every day we cut several half-pound bags of our best sellers and put them in said display to save time. He did, but they were out. Oh, wait. He did, but we were out. This man, without another word, took a swing at my colleague. Excuse me? He did what? Just because you couldn't slice meat for him? I'm sorry. I love meat too. Okay, meat is amazing, especially ribs and buffalo wings. Oh, yum. Okay. Um, but I'm not gonna punch somebody or take a swing at somebody if they don't have. Oh, I'm mad. I'm mad. Chat, I'm mad. I need to calm down. Oh, okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna continue. Let's just continue. Let's just continue. He didn't come close to hitting her because she and I both had a nasty guts feeling about this guy from the moment he walked up. Yes, listen to your instincts. And had stepped well back. He then proceeded to storm around the store making a mess. He didn't yell or scream or cuss, just started destroying our store systematically. Jail! Jail now! He had a shopping basket instead of a cart and was swinging it at displays and shelves and knocking stuff down. Just because they didn't have meat, you destroy somebody else's property. Look, I get that shops are there for the public and you guys can shop there, but that doesn't mean you go and destroy the property. You did not pay for any of those items. You did not do the stock. You don't own the company. You don't own anything. Oh, I'm mad. I'm mad. You don't own anything in the store. Them not having meat is no reason for you to crash out. Oh man. This is just the first story. Okay. Whew. We called loss prevention and they called the cops who carted him off. The most bizarre thing was after that incident, a rival store made a point of advertising that they didn't close their deli until their whole store was closed. Though as they closed their whole store at 10 p.m., it wasn't really much of a difference. I actually had an employee from said rival store, when she heard the story from me, heavily imply it was our fault because we were giving poor customer service by closing the deli before the rest of the store. Fire her now. No. Okay, guys, different stores have different policies. So if you work in one retail store and you guys have a different policy there and things work differently there and you move to a different store, a different retail store that sells, I don't know, similar things or the same things that the other store did where you worked at, doesn't mean they're going to follow the same rules. It's going to be different rules for different stores. Oh my word. And how dare you blame them for customers crash out? It wasn't poor customer service. It was people not knowing how to take no for an answer and saying, sorry, we do not have this, or that's not how it works. It's people not taking no for an answer. Oh my word. How dare you come into a store and work there and say it is the staff's fault for the customers crash out? Oh, girl, I would have fired you so quickly. So quickly, I would have told you to pack your stuff and leave. Oh, I am so mad. Reaction. I just walked in to find out what's going on and why I'm shouting. That has never happened in retail reactions before. I am so sorry. I need to calm down. But anyway, as I was saying, I would have told that employee to pack her bags and leave. And if she's not happy with the way we do things here, she can go back to her old work and work there. Honestly, like, oh, you don't. Ooh, I'm ready to throw hands. And this is the first story. I already know what I'm gonna name this. Jules crash out. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Story 2. For context, at the far end of the deli hot bar counter, the store I worked at also had a fresh sandwich station. There we would have some meat we cut fresh that morning, bread fresh out of the bakery department's oven, and various sub toppings. Customers would order a sandwich and we'd make it, bag it and hand it over the counter to them. This was time consuming and we sometimes would get big crowds at lunch, especially after a highway underpass started being constructed right near our store. To make things a bit more complicated, we had a rotating sub of the day, special throughout the week. For instance, Sunday would be turkey, Monday would be ham, Tuesday any single meat, 6-inch with purchase of bag of chips, etc. The way we would make sure customers got a discount when they took their sandwich to the cashier was to put the sandwich in a sub of the day bag instead of the normal bag. The barcodes were different. Enter entitled young customer bedecked in jewelry and spotless white business suit. I can feel the rise inside me. I can feel the rise. I can sense a disturbance in the force. Who came in during a lunch rush, said blinged out lady, and a steadily growing queue of disgruntled construction dudes and ladies piling up behind her because she absolutely would not take her sandwich and go. I had to put it in a deluxe sub bag, and she adamantly wanted the sub of the day bag, even though she had knowingly made edits to the sandwich that increased the price. She was literally huffing and rolling her eyes because I wouldn't give her away. My store's general manager was a penny pincher, and under no circumstances were we to put anything extra on a sandwich without putting it in a deluxe sub bag, more expensive than even a normal sub. The menu even said sub of the day can have items removed from them but not added. And this wasn't a question of a little extra lettuce or olives. The lady had added full servings of salami and beef to her ham sandwich, and still wanted me to put it in a sub of the day bag and not charge her for the extra meat. It ain't happening, lady. I'm sorry. Meat is expensive. No. I'm so glad you stood on all tens. Anyway, finally she stopped complaining and stormed off, much to the relief of the impatient line behind her. I had worked my way through a couple more orders, then blinked out lady suddenly rematerialized and, while looking me dead in the eyes, reached over the counter into the deli area and snatched a discount sandwich bag before booking it towards the other end of the store. At the time, the back racks were kept close to the glass, which wasn't super tall, and she had long, skinny arms and just barely managed to reach. Now, usually something this small price wise doesn't warrant loss prevention, but the lady reached into a sanitized area and contaminated it. No. It meant I had to throw out and restock that whole rack of bags, and that wasn't going to fly. The customer I was serving saw what blinged out lady had done and was as flabbergasted as I was. She gave me gracious permission to run to the telephone and call loss prevention. I wasn't there for the shutdown, but I heard afterwards that my deli manager, who had stepped out to get some stuff off a supply truck that had just come in, got word of what happened and was not happy. He told loss prevention he'd take care of it, then went over to self checkout personally and stood with the attendant. When blinged out lady arrived with her shopping cart, she had stolen sandwich bag on her sandwich, overtopping at the other one. I'm liking where this is going. I'm liking where this is going. Like, you could obviously see it was double bagged. My manager basically blocked her way to the scanner and said, "Nope, scan the right back or give us back the sandwich." My deli manager was ex-military and took no nonsense. Ooh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. And I think blinged out lady must have sensed that reportedly. She complied immediately and shuffled out without looking at or speaking to anyone, like a little kid caught being naughty. Afterwards, we moved the bag rack to a different spot far from the prep area, and though it was massively inconvenient, we didn't have that particular trouble ever again. The fact that the manager was ex-military and took no nonsense is just, oh, a chef's kiss. A chef's kiss. I am loving this. I'm loving this. Edits for clarity. The price difference on deluxe sandwiches versus sub of the day was only about $3, maybe $4. In most cases, loss prevention was not going to get involved over an amount that small. The reason they and my deli manager decided they were going to make sure the lady paid full price for her sandwich was because we had to throw away about $35 worth of bags on her account. And also, she had just been really obnoxious to us. Also, she had massively held up the line. This caused several people to leave the line without buying a sandwich, which turns also lost us money. And that is exactly it. You know what? I actually like the store. I like the way they handled the situation. Um, when the guy was first crashing out, there's nothing else you can do but phone the cops. I like that they phoned, the what's it called? Loss prevention to let them know what was going on. If I don't know if they had cameras back then. I don't know how long ago this was and whatnot. But if you have cameras now, you can call loss prevention, I'm guessing. Or, you can phone the cops, and then once the cops arrive, or while you're waiting for the cops, you can phone loss prevention, let them know what's going on, send them a live feed of what's going on if that's possible, I'm guessing. But I rate this, like, because of how bad the first story was and how bad the crash out was, and also because of how unsanitary this lady was and how entitled this lady was, causing huge loss in this business. I'm rating this a 5 out of 5 because that is bad. How can you be this self-entitled? It always blows my mind. Now, I have not experienced this. I have not seen this, and I'm very grateful that I haven't. But reading these stories and reading other people's experiences of how entitled they are, it blows my mind. It amazes me at how entitled you can be, that you can actually cause a company or a business so much financial loss just because you can't take no for an answer, or just because you cannot get your way. Like I said last week, no means no. It doesn't mean throw a tantrum and ruin things for everybody else just because you're not getting your own way. It's not going to work out in your favor. At the end of the day, you're the one who's making a fool out of yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. And if anybody knows you and they see these videos go viral, because I mean, when people crash out, that's what happens now. It goes viral, and they see these videos go viral, they're going to be embarrassed to be related to you or to even know you because of because you couldn't get your own way, and it is so bad. Guys, no, don't. Okay, anyway, moving on to you need the ham for what now? And this is also by Temporary Lumpy 8589. Oh, we got two stories from him. Temporary Lumpy. I'm gonna enjoy your stories. Is the next one also from you? Is that also from you? I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Another tale from working the deli hot food section at the grocery store. Sometimes I was on hot food duty, sometimes I was on cold cuts duty. This is a story about one of our regulars at the cold cuts counter. I never did learn her name, so I'll just call her SL for sweet lady. Aww. For context, by far the most time consuming way to cut meat is chipped, shredded, i.e., the blade set to a microscopic thickness setting so the meat is like little bits of torn lace in a pile. Makes sense. Shortly after I first started working there, my manager, whom I'll call Z, notices the sweet little lady who I'd guess was in her mid-60s wearing a classic bright floral patterned grandma shirt. This is the conversation that ensued. Z. Oh no, me. What? Z. Not again. What? Z. Just hope no other customers come to the counter for a bit and go get the insert brand name smoked honey and maple ham, the all natural one. Me, confused but glad to know ahead of time so I don't have to wait for the customer to make a selection. Okay, sure, but why? Just have it ready. She always orders like a ton of chipped honey maple ham once every couple weeks. I'll try to handle any other customers that come. You'll be here for a bit. My natural first thought is, oh, great, yay, lovely, or something of that nature. I love that. It's like, oh, great, yay, lovely. See, my reaction would have been like, oh, yay, this is fantastic. I'm looking forward to this. It kind of gives off the same vibe. But it wasn't really crowded at this time as it wasn't our busy hour. Sure enough, Sweet Lady comes up, says, Hi, hun, and proceeds to somewhat apologetically, order around a pound and a half of this expensive specialty ham, all chipped, shredded like 24 ounces of teeny meat fragments. She feels guilty. I need to give her a hug. Usually, slicing meat the normal way, even for a pound and a half, would take 45 seconds, maybe. This took me several agonizing minutes. Okay, I thought it was going to be hours. Minutes is different. All the while hoping a queue wouldn't start forming behind her. While I'm chipping the meat, Sweet Lady stands there waiting very patiently, making occasional small talk. Usually, when customers had weird orders like this, they were also impatient or spoiled. So it was refreshing that she was so polite. Ah, but it still took forever. Finally, I gave her her order. She says thanks, hon, and leaves. Over the next several months, I saw Sweet Lady many times, always wearing super bright colored outfits, always coming in when we were sort of dead. Okay, I will say this about Sweet Lady. At least she comes in when it's quiet and not when it's busy. At least she is considerate of everyone around her. Because to come in when they're busy and make a order like this. So, I love it. I'm already rating this a 1 out of 5. But let's see what she uses the the meat for, okay? She must have been aware her order was long and the order was always the same. She was always super nice, so I tried to be super nice back to her even though she was causing an inconvenience. It's not an inconvenience. People do order a lot of meats. And it became a normal part of the routine, and I didn't really mind it. It never really occurred to me to ask if she had a special reason for her order. Oh, okay. Then we don't see Sweet Lady for a long time by her standards. There was an underpass being constructed right down the road from our store at the same time, and we were being constantly slammed at lunch by construction workers, police, and firemen wanting fresh deli sandwiches. I honestly had forgotten about Sweet Lady when all of a sudden, in a comparative lull, I see this lady, probably in her late 30s, early 40s, hovering around the daily counter. She looks very embarrassed and clearly doesn't want to be there. Oh, for a minute she looks like she might chicken out and leave, but I managed to get over to the counter as I know Z is watching and hates it when customers leave without buying anything. Makes sense. This lady we will call Embarrassing Lady. Sorry about the wait. Can I help you, ma'am? Embarrassing Lady won't look at me and mumbles something I can't hear. Me, I'm sorry, what was that? Mumbling something about her mom and the stupid dog. Excuse me? Oh no. Manages to look at me, gives me the most embarrassed attempt at a grin. My mom's a regular customer. I'm sorry to have to do this while you're busy, but she's been very sick lately. Oh, and she's been on my case to get the shredded meat for the dog, me. Now it's starting to come together that this is Sweet Lady's daughter. Is it honey maple ham by any chance? Embarrassing lady, yes, sorry, a pound and a half shredded. Coming right up. Embarrassing lady clearly wants to get it off her chest. I'm so sorry to do this when you're busy, but my mom's got this 12-year-old pug that's going senile and she spoils him rotten. He doesn't have many teeth, so this is about the only special treats he can have. He can't chew dog biscuits. Mom's home and recovering now, but she's been begging me to get up here all week. Me, oh, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind at all. And honestly, I didn't. It was a break from the lunch craziness. I saw Sweet Lady one or two times after that before I was transferred to a sister store a few miles away. Before I left, I told Z and the other employees that what Sweet Lady was using the chipped meats for. Most of them said something like, "You've got to be kidding me." But Z said, "Yeah, I figured it was for a dog or a cat, but I didn't want to ask." I felt silly for not thinking of it before, but as I am an animal lover myself, and at the time had nearly 20-year-old cats of my own, I could sympathize with her desire to make the last year or so of the pet's life special. When they start to show signs of pets' dementia and things like that, also, I always enjoyed a little slice of life interactions like that because they made up for other not so pleasant things about working there. I love the story and I am going to rate the story a 1 out of 5 because it's not that bad. It is very sweet, it is very heartwarming. And with that being said, oh, sorry, I forgot to ask, what do you guys rate the first story? How would you have handled the situation and what did you think of my rant? If it was valid or not? And then also, what did you think of this story? I like the story and the fact that the lady was, you know, considerate of those around her and never came on a lunch rush, never came in and was busy or whatever. She always chose the quiet days. And it kind of reminds me of me. I don't like going to the shops when it's busy and there's crowds of people and there's a lot of people. I like going to the shops when it's quiet because then you can take your time. Then you can, get to what you need to get to. You can go in and you can get out, or there's so much more freedom around that than what there is when the store is busy. So I like going to the store when it's not crowded because I do get claustrophobic, and I like going to the store when it's quiet and you can just walk around and do what you need to do without worrying about bumping into somebody, without having to rush, without doing this, without doing that. So yeah, I do appreciate that about Sweet Lady. And I don't know how long ago this was, and I hope she lived up to, I don't know, 100 years old, whatever, that she's still around. I really, really do, because this is so adorable and I absolutely love it. Hey, temporary lumpy, 8589. Another long story. Wait, are all of these? Aw. I thought they were all from Temporary Lumpy. I'm enjoying Temporary Lumpy's story. 8589. Triple threat combo of entitled customer. People don't read posted signs, and your lack of prep does not constitute an emergency on my end. I am loving this. I'm gonna miss Temporary Lumpy after this one. So during college, I had two jobs. One was at a pizza restaurant, the other at a localized but very prolific grocery store chain. Think a few hundred stores all in the same couple countries of the same US states. I primarily worked in the deli hot food section of the grocery store. We had very nice commercial rotisserie oven that we could spit something like 30 chickens on at once. Okay. 6 spit arms, 5 chicken to an arm. The chickens we used, it is crucial to note, were not taken from our store's meat section, but were shipped to us separately from the supplier. They were evenly sized, contained packets of the seasoning mix we were supposed to sprinkle on them, were already pre cleaned of giblets and had been mechanically drilled through so we could easily spit them on the large rotating arms of the commercial grade rotisserie. This last step is crucial because if you try to force a improperly prepped, undrilled bird onto one of those very large spit arms, the odds are high the bird will fall apart into the oven and start burning, smoking. We found that one out the hard way when the supplier sent us a couple that weren't properly prepped. Ooh, that must have been so much fun to clean up and contain. Usually, we cooked enough chickens each day to meet everyone's demands, but every once in a while, when we had an unusually busy day and ran out when it was too late to make more, we would have a customer bring a whole chicken from the meat section and ask if we could cook it. Mercifully, when we explained all of the above, plus the fact that we weren't going to run the entire expensive oven for just one bird, people would typically say, "Oh, okay," and leave without pestering us further. In fact, most people began the inquiry with, "I know the answer is probably no, but." So they weren't too disappointed. Sometimes we'd get a remark from our manager afterwards about we should have prepped more birds, but that was the extent of it. Now, on to the story. It was well publicized that this chain of stores around US Thanksgiving offered a pre-cooked meal special. But the thing was, you had to pre order it well in advance. The reason being, parts of that special involved us stocking a fixed amount of turkeys that was specially prepped for the oven, just like our chickens usually were, to cook in the rotisserie. We would have a special crew to stay after closing the day before Thanksgiving to cook these turkeys and their accompanying sides overnight, so people could pick them up Thanksgiving morning. Once we had taken enough pre-orders to account for all our turkeys, we couldn't take any more orders because the suppliers wouldn't send any more turkeys. Makes sense. This was well publicized in all our TV ads, on signs on the door and the deli and the cash register on the website, you named it. Okay, so people just can't read, or they don't think the rule applies to them. It's just one of the two. One year we were swamped with pre-orders and actually ran out of the pre-drilled turkeys about 10 days prior to Thanksgiving. Usually it was 3 or 4. My manager, foreseeing potential disaster, bought some bright, and I do mean bright, think obnoxiously bright and hurting our eyes, neon colored paper, and wrote in black, bold letters that we could no longer take pre-orders, we were out of turkeys. He posted these signs all over the store, every entrance, every exit, the frozen section, the produce section, the butcher, the dry goods, and of course, our own section in deli hot foods. Okay, that, quick thinking. We get through the next couple of days just fine. His plan seemed to have worked. But then the day before Thanksgiving, of course, enter a 50-odd-year-old entitled lady. How do you know she's 50? And yes, she had the certain haircut. Oh no. Quite literally with one of my manager's childish neon with black letters, you can't possibly miss it signs right next to her. It's not as if it's not posted all over the place, honestly. She starts begging and pleading and sob storying me into trying to somehow get a Thanksgiving meal pre order in for her. I try to be nice to her as I can, initially thinking she's just distraught, but then she suddenly runs off. I think that's the end of it, but then she comes back with a truly gigantic turkey from the frozen meat section. This is not how this works. Yeah, I brought you a turkey. Put it with the others. Oh no, 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 no. 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 Now, I have to take a deep breath and try to explain why I can't do that. The bird isn't prepped. The bird is too big and won't cook at the same speed as the others. I don't know how long she had it out of the freezer, so it is a sanitation issue. That as well. It's not rolled through and I tear it up trying to spit it, etc. She's having none of that. She just keeps whining. You can't put out turkeys. There's so many in the back. I'll get a smaller one. I really need this, etc. Naturally, I'm thinking, why did you even think you'd be able to come in the day before Thanksgiving? Anyway, when the store is slammed and the ad said order now, order soon, and we've got signs saying we ran out of turkeys 9 days ago. But I can't say that. Finally, she swears under her breath a little and leaves. I was just glad it didn't go worse, but I know she complained to corporate afterwards because we got the nominal, oh yeah, there was a dumb complaint brieflet. I actually like, again, this is like I would say this is like a 2 out of 5, maybe a three, borderline 3 out of 5 situation. I like the way this temporary lumpy handled the situation. Like there was no arguing, there was none of that or whatever. Maybe a little bit of cussing and frustration, but I don't think she did that because she was entitled, and I think she did that because she was panicking. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I don't like using that word, but anyway, moving on. Maybe she did have something planned and something went wrong, like the turkey burnt or something like that. Like something went wrong, or somebody said they were gonna do the turkey and they left it last minute and they never did the turkey, or so. Like you don't know why she came to you with um so desperately, you know. So like I wouldn't say be too harsh on her, but the fact that you stuck to your guns and the fact that you tried to explain and you were polite and everything, um yeah, no, I don't think I would have done anything differently here, but I do wonder if she did have something planned and something happened, and that's why she had to maybe come up with a last minute solution, or maybe she just got so busy doing everything else that she forgot about the turkey and she must have thought she already did it. I don't know what happened. I don't know why she was desperate, but this doesn't sound like a Karen, and I say that's using air quotes. I think she was just desperate. I think that is the only situation. Or maybe family phoned her last minute saying, hey, we're coming over for Thanksgiving. Do you mind preparing the turkey? And they let her know last minute. So it could have been that as well. But yeah, guys, I'll be right back. I need to go clear the passageways and then we'll move on to our fourth story. I am back and I am towing because after I cleared my passageways and cleaned my hands, I went to go get food because I'm hungry and it's lunchtime. But anyway, um, moving on to the ceiling was collapsing in around us. Based on that title, I am rating this a 5 just because of safety. Just because of safety, not for anything else. Just because of safety. Oh my, what? What? I did. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hi. I recently heard about the subreddits and boy, do I have a story to tell. Many years ago, I worked at a 99-cent store that was a part of a large pizza that was the main shopping center of our town. Plaza. I was just about to say pizza does not make him. Plaza. Near the end of winter, a construction crew showed up and began tearing up the roofs and metal awning on every store in the plaza. Why? Why? And why would you have people still working there? And why wouldn't you warn people about our safety? Oh my word, this is my anxiety. Did anybody get hurt? Is everybody good? I hope nobody died. Now, at this time, there was no snow or ice, so everything was fine at the time. However, as it went from winter to spring, it began to rain and the roofs has not been replaced. Oh no. Every single shop in the plaza had leaking ceilings and suffered major water damage, I would have sued. I would have sued them for everything they have. In the store I worked in, the ceiling panels had absorbed all the water and began to fall upon us. Oh no. At one point, we had to tape off the seasonal section of our store with a caution tape and sign saying stay out, danger. Did this stop people from going past all the tape so they could get an ice cream shaped travel cups? No, it did not. Close the store! Why do you have the store open? And when I called them out for it, all they would say was, well, there was something I wanted in there. Soon enough, more than half our ceiling was gone and another of our products were ruined. That wasn't the worst. What was the worst was when it began raining inside the store, literal downpours inside a shop when it wasn't raining outside. Several times our registers were rained on and would not turn on. This didn't stop people from shopping at the and corporate refused to shut down. I would have walked out. I would have walked out. One day, on my day off, my dad and I had gone into the shop for cleaning supply, and my dad, for the first time, had seen the damage I had been describing to him for the first time. In the end, he called the fire department because the store was a literal danger zone. Thank you! With the flooded floors and the waterlogged electronics, but the fire department didn't shut down the store. Are they insane? By the time I quit the job, the ceiling was still missing and the floors were constantly flooded. All of this happened between the months of March to June. Yeah, I'm so glad you quit. I'm so glad you got out of there because these people were greedy as um they cared more about making money than what they did about the safety of their not only their customers, the staff as well. And the fact that the plaza didn't shut down for these renovations to get the ceiling fixed is insanity to me. This is dangerous. Floods are people die in floods. And water and electricity, everybody knows, doesn't go together. And if there are exposed wires, hello, fire. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. And roofs collapsing through. The roofs could have collapsed on top of people. How did they not care about anyone's safety? The fact that they were so greedy and they would be like, no, you are going to make us money. You are going to work even though you are risking your life, even though you might die. No, no, retail is not that kind of job. I'm sorry. You're not putting out fires. You're not catching criminals. You are not working on the borderline stopping immigrants from coming into the country. I'm sorry. You're not working on ships in the middle of the Atlantic. Y- um, You're not going, you're not removing barnacles from the bottom of ships. Like, you're not risking your life. It's not a life risking job. It is, hey, retail, sell. That's it. That is it. And the fact that these companies and the fire department not shutting down the. I would have thrown hands. I would have sued. This is definitely a 5 out of 5. And the fact that the people were so greedy and the fire department saw this damage and saw how dangerous it was just like, yeah, no, it's fine. People can still shop here. People can still work here. That's gonna happen. At this, I can't. I can't. I wouldn't care if I got fired. I would have turned around to customers and like, sorry, store's closed. Goodbye. I would have found a moving company to move all the whatever is salvageable and to even if it came out of my own pocket, put it somewhere safe so that no more damages can take place. I would have phoned the company. I'll be like, here's the key, here's the place's number. I'm emailing everything to you. I quit. I closed the store because it's too dangerous to work here. The ceilings are collapsing. What you gonna do if a ceiling collapses on all your customers that are inside the store and there are serious injuries and a death or two? No, thank you. I'm not being held accountable for that. And if I lose my job because of it, then that tells me you care more about money than what you do about people's safety. I would have hung up the phone and I would have left. I would have locked up and I would have left after I made sure all the stock was safe and locked away somewhere. And that's it. That is literally it. The great tablet recall. Oh my word. Added some paragraph breaks to make it easier to read. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Weekend Angel 2001. Oh, the story about the ceiling collapsing was by Mindless Scale 914. Okay, Weekend Angel, what do you have for us? I'm pretty sure I can't name specific brands or retailers, but suffice to say, this happened when I was working in the electronics section of a very famous toy store back when it was still a thing. It was not long after tablets first became a thing, and several companies had made tablets specifically for children. They only cost $150 to $200, as opposed to the $500 to $1,000 that the Pro tablets would cost. Came with a bunch of popular game and educational apps built in. I remember those, and of course, parental controls. There was one particular tablet that was very popular that year. It was the big ticket item that Christmas, and we sold many of them. I would tell as many parents as I could that the device wasn't a simple turn on play affair because it would require an initial setup so the parents could set up the accounts and access and everything like that. Okay, I'm thinking of something else. Let's fast forward to the day after Christmas, which was the most popular day for returns, and almost every one of this one particular children's tablet that we sold was returned. It seemed there was a pretty catastrophic issue, starting with the fact that pretty much all parents had ignored the warnings about the device's need for setup and only opened it for the first time on Christmas morning. Imagine the experience of your child opening up their brand new tablet that they've been begging for months and wanting to play with it right away, only for it not to work because all the parental setup needs to be done first. So you're trying to do this with your overstimulated and impatient child screaming at you to make it work. Well, as bad as that sounds, it got worse. How can it get worse? As all of these parents trying to log in and set the devices up at the same time crashed the server used for account setup. Oh no. So the brand new tablets were essentially bricked. I can only imagine all the disappointed children on Christmas Day. Now, this technology was relatively new, and being Christmas, I imagine tech support wasn't very helpful. Why are you phoning tech supports on Christmas Day? Don't you think they have families that they want to spend time with? Don't you think that they want to have a day off? Leave tech support alone on Christmas. Let them spend time with families. Oh my word, let them have a day off. It's not their fault you are stupid enough not to read the instructions. That's on you, that's not on them. Or even available. So pretty much all of the people who couldn't get things to work right away just opted to return them. It was such a huge loss that I think the store company sued the company that made the tablets. The company did make one more tablet name 2, the next year, but by then the brand was poisoned and very few of them actually sold. The whole concept of children's tablets seemed to die out by the next Christmas season, and we just sold regular tablets in the following years. I don't think it's the brand's fault because it did have instructions, it did say how to set it up and everything. And the parents, instead of, opening it up and setting it up and try and figure it out, before wrapping the presents and giving it to their child and trying to set it up while they were panicking. I'm sorry, that's not on the company who made these tablets. That's on the parents and all of them as a collective, not so no, like if I was the company, I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. People are stupid. The instructions clearly state the instructions are clear and easy to follow. It's not our fault that people aren't reading the instructions and setting up the thing before giving it to their children. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have done the whole lawsuit thing. I would have been like, no, that's on the parents. I'm not responsible for that. I swear, some people. Now, with that being said, I don't know what to rate that, and I don't know how I would have handled the situation. Honestly, I would have just called my customers stupid. At that point, I would have gotten so irritated, like, it's not our fault, you are stupid. We told you to set the thing up before wrapping it. We told you to look at the instructions before wrapping it and giving it to your child. It is not our fault that you don't know how to read. Okay, I know there are people who don't know how to read. I'm not aiming this at them. It's not our fault that you refuse to read the instruction manual before giving it to your child, and it's not our fault you don't know how to listen and follow instructions. That is on you. That is not on me. And yeah, of course, tech support is not going to answer their phone. Don't you think they have families as well? Don't you think they want to spend time with their families? I mean, what's wrong with you? Honestly, I would have went off on the on my customers. And yeah, I would have most likely got fired. So yeah, I don't know. How would you guys have handled that situation? And also, what would you rate this? Because I don't know what to rate this. Anyway, moving on to Tro. Ah, see, that sounded so wrong. Troawesi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Troavesi. Avesi. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, but moving on to Tro, I'm just gonna say this, Tro. What did you do to make him so upset? It's a short story. We are happy with short stories. Moving on to our last story, let's get into it. When I worked in the electronics section of a major retail, I was one of the go-to cell phone experts. I was usually patient and kind, even going so far as to set up contracts for burner phones, something we didn't typically offer to do. One day I was called in to help a gentleman find a phone that would meet his needs. However, he started speaking to me with a rude attitude from the moment I said hello. I began asking him basic questions like, do you need minutes or unlimited? And are you looking for a smartphone or a flip phone? Each question seemed to make him angrier and angrier. He started insulting me, calling me names, and claiming I didn't know what I was doing. At that point, I told him I was done helping him and wished him good luck finding what he needed. Then I walked away. Later, my manager came to talk to me, asking if I had been rude to a customer. I explained my side of the story, and to my surprise, she laughed. She told me she had already asked the customer to leave, saying, what did you do to upset? He's the kindest employee we have. I love this one. We're ending this off with a very good note. I am so happy. I rate this a 1 out of 5 just because the manager was like, yeah, that is not him. You must have done something to upset him. Please leave the store. I love it so much. I love it when managers take the side of their staff members, fellow staff members, and they are, defending staff members when customers are being rude or impossible instead of attacking the staff members and telling them they just need to deal with the abuse. I love it when managers are just be like, no, that's not how it works. Please leave. I absolutely love it. Oh my word, this is amazing. I am so glad it ended on this. So, guys, what did you think of this week's retail stories, and what did you think of how it started to how it ended? Because it went escalated and then completely calmed down at the end. I would love to read your thoughts on this week's stories. And yeah, with that being said, wait, I just want to see this top 1%. If a customer asks for help, then answers not to my first three questions, I'll tell them that if they're going to keep saying no, there's plenty of other people that need my help. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. No, I have to disagree with that top 1% comment. But anyway, speaking of retail, guys, guess what? Guess what, couplings? Guess what? We have merch. If you guys want my merch, especially the denim jackets, I'm gonna name the denim jackets merch of the week because it is amazing. It is comfortable. I have worn it because when Mumsy came to visit South Africa, he bought this denim jacket with just so I could wear it and feel what it feels like and whatnot. And it's amazing. And guys, it has inside pockets. It's got inside pockets. So if you don't want to walk with big bags, or if you don't want to walk with things inside your pocket that's easily accessible, you can put it on the inside pockets and it will still be safe. Guys, merch of the week. Denim jackets. Get them. But yeah, guys, we've got denim jackets. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure the white denim jacket is pretty much the same as the black one. But yeah, if you guys want to go get merch, please go check out my merch store. Link will be in the description down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's story. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go say bye, my couplings.